Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Today we have an interview for you by Arc System Works. This interview was carried out by a website, a blog called Comunidad. Arc System Works. This is a Spanish language blog, although we do have an English translation, and some very interesting questions were asked. Before anything else, if you would like to see the transcript and interview in full, a link to the entire interview will be provided in the video description. We'll be going over a bunch of questions, but specifically the ones of import, at least to me in this channel. A lot of other things we kind of knew some of the answers to, but if you want to see everything in full, the link will be there in the video description. And to note, the people answering the questions in this interview are the Strive producer, Takashi Yamanaka, and the Strive project director, Akira Kitano. So that said, well, let's start with the first question. So what was asked is, will we see more games, more past games, have the Guilty Gear X2 Accent Core plus R treatment, as in older games being retrofitted with rollback netcode? And the statement from Arc System Works is yes. We cannot say when it would happen for sure, but we are actively thinking about it. So BlazBlue fans, this is probably the big one, right? Because Dragon Ball FighterZ, we'll talk about that in a minute. But BlazBlue fans, some pretty good news. Considering their answer to that first before anything else is yes, we can expect more past games to have that treatment, right? So good news. As to when, hey, who knows, right? But at least it's on their minds. And it'll be very interesting to see how that turns out. Question number 2. I know that you may not be able to answer this one, but when can we expect this online experience for future Arc System Works titles, rollback netcode that is? For example, Dungeon Fighter Online Duel. Statement from Arc System Works. I believe our future titles will have the rollback architecture as default now, meaning all games moving forward, that's just how it's going to be. We are even considering implementing it in past titles, as we talked about. For the quality of the experience, it has to be taken case by case, so we cannot promise anything, but all of our teams will always do their best. So that kind of says it in a nutshell right there. So if you were looking forward to the Dungeon Fighter fighting game, which we haven't really heard about at all since its initial release, I think that was like in late December or something like that, that it originally got released. But yeah, so at least we know with a lot of confidence going forward that will launch with rollback netcode, and we can assume it's the same quality as the Guilty Gear Strive netcode, that is to say, impeccable. And whatever games they have moving onwards into the future as well, we can expect much the same. So hey, fantastic, 2 thumbs up. Our next question of note, and I've selected this specific one because this one I've tried to beat into people's heads over the years. We usually hear many people asking for Dragon Ball FighterZ and Grand Blue Fantasy Versus as well to have rollback. This is a golden chance to discuss the topic, so we would like to ask you about it. Would it be possible to implement rollback on those games, or would it be too far, too hard now that those games have already been fully programmed? And Arc System's official take on this is, we are not publishing either of those titles, so we have no say on the matter. So therefore, Cygames, Bandai Namco, those are the people. But on a purely technical side, is it feasible? Yes, it is. However, it is extremely difficult to retrofit rollback because the game was not designed with rollback in mind. You can never know where the program is going to start behaving unpredictably. Our side, it will be necessary to repeatedly check and correct possible scenarios that might happen during the fight. And they have said it plain as day, and this is something I've tried to explain to many people over the years, is Arc System Works can do it, but they don't get the say in doing it. It is very doable. Mortal Kombat X very famously went from delay-based netcode to rollback netcode, and it takes 2 things, time and money. Arc System Works can provide the time, but the money has to come from the publisher. In Dragon Ball FighterZ case, that is Bandai Namco. They put it plain as day, they can do it. It can be done, but Bandai Namco is unwilling for whatever reason to put in the money to improve the game. So that's the end of that story. So if you're looking for someone to blame for Dragon Ball FighterZ never getting rollback netcode, Arc System Works for the most part is blameless, other than just not having rollback at the time, 3+ years ago. But the decision is Bandai Namco, and Bandai Namco's alone in that matter. Arc System Works has nothing to do with it. So if you didn't know, now you know. And now moving into our final question of note, and this is regards to Guilty Gear Strive, the big question of crossplay. So this is what they have to say on the matter. Last but not least, the next step would be crossplay so all the community could play together. In a genre like fighting games, in which the community is the cornerstone, I feel this should be a must-have going forward. Do you have more news regarding this demanded feature? Does rollback netcode make it harder to implement crossplay between different consoles or between consoles and PC? To which Arc System Works answers, of course we are always striving, hopefully pun intended, to accomplish this. And we are going through the verification processes for it. Hey, that sounds pretty good. But there are still many practical issues like schedules and the running costs of the matching servers. It will take a little more time before we can make a concrete announcement. So basically, just about any way you want to read that, that sounds like the train is moving forward on crossplay for the game. When they talk about the verification process, that means they're probably talking to Sony, because it's not like they have to do that internally, because for the most part, crossplay really is as easy as flicking a switch. Many games, that's been the case. The very famous Epic Games Power Play that got the whole crossplay thing going was very much them flicking a switch and saying, hey, what are you going to do about it? The process of crossplay technically is not very difficult. However, the big thing, if you're not aware, is now that we know, Sony wants a cut of the pie is the thing. Any amount of DLC, merchandise, whatever you sell when you have crossplay on non-Sony consoles, Sony wants a taste. They want some money for everything as they consider perceived loss of sales. When they use the term here, running costs of matching servers, a server just to do like handshakes between systems and all that kind of stuff, I don't think that's really that big of a deal. I think they're more trying to be diplomatic about the fact that they're wondering about the costs that Sony is going to take when it comes to future DLC and all that kind of stuff. But the way the interview is phrased, once again, they're going through the verification processes for it. So they're talking to somebody somewhere, more than likely Sony. And it says here, well, take a little more time before we can make a concrete announcement, therefore meaning they're planning on making an announcement. So all these things put together, to me, read as crossplay eventually is a go. They're just waiting to see how things will shake out, maybe work out some of the financials and some other little details. But the plan is for it to happen in the future. And those are the big pertinent questions, to me anyways, from the interview. And once again, the full interview will be in the video description. Go check them out, please. Good on them for getting an interview and some nice answers out of Arc System Works, all in told. But yeah, all this seems like good news for the future for Arc System Works. More Arc System Works older titles getting rollback netcode is the way it sounds. Hopefully BlazBlue, maybe even BlazBlue cross tag, that'd be sick, right? Nice looking forward into the future, because Dungeon Fighter Online Duel, basically, it seems to be a lock. It'll have rollback netcode, which is awesome. So we can go into that game with full confidence going forward. DBFZ, basically ending all the rollback dreams. But hey, if you're like me, you didn't have much dreams to begin with anyways, right? Can't be disappointed if you never hoped for anything anyways. And looks like crossplay might be a go, so we'll see. But anyways, my friends, let me know in the comments below what you think about all this. And otherwise, hey, that's the end of this video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Guilty Gear.